There is an old story from the steppe, passed down long before it was ever written into any history book. A dying father called his sons to his side. He handed each of them a single arrow and told them to break it. Each son snapped his arrow with ease. Then the father bundled several arrows together and handed the bundle to his strongest son. "Break this," he said. The son strained, twisted, pushed with all his strength, and the bundle would not break. The lesson was simple. Alone, you are fragile. Together, you are unbreakable. This idea, unity as the ultimate weapon, sat at the very core of how the Mongols thought, fought, and built the largest empire the world has ever known. And it started with a problem that had plagued the steppe for centuries. The tribes hated each other. Before Genghis Khan, the peoples of the Mongolian steppe were fractured into dozens of competing clans: the Merkit, the Tatars, the Kerate, the Naiman, and Genghis Khan's own Borjigin. They raided each other, they betrayed each other, they fought over pasture, over livestock, over old blood feuds that stretched back generations. No outside empire needed to conquer them. They were already busy destroying themselves. Genghis Khan's first great achievement wasn't a battle, it was a merger. He did something almost no one on the steppe had managed before. He united the fractured tribes into a single people, bound not by bloodline, but by loyalty to a shared cause. And here's the part that separates the Mongol mindset from almost every other conquering force in history. Loyalty mattered more than lineage. In most ancient societies, your bloodline decided your fate. Nobility stayed noble, slaves stayed slaves. But Genghis Khan built something radically different, a meritocracy on horseback. A shepherd's son who proved himself in battle could rise to command 10,000 men. A captured enemy general who swore loyalty could become a trusted commander. What mattered wasn't where you came from, it was whether you could be trusted and whether you could perform. This single decision, promotion based on proven loyalty and skill, not birthright, gave the Mongols an advantage no rival empire could match. Their opponents were often led by nobles chosen by blood, regardless of competence. The Mongols were led by whoever had actually earned it. Ask yourself where in your own life you're still operating by old hierarchies instead of by what actually works. Are you giving trust and opportunity to people, or to yourself, based on proven ability, or just on old habits and assumptions? There's a second principle just as important as unity: patience. The popular image of the Mongols is speed, lightning raids, overwhelming cavalry charges, cities falling in days. And that image isn't wrong, but underneath the speed was something slower and far more disciplined: the willingness to wait for the exact right moment to strike. Mongol commanders were famous for their scouting networks, gathering intelligence on enemy cities for months, sometimes years, before ever launching an attack. They studied the terrain, the politics, the weaknesses of a target long before a single arrow was fired. When the moment came, they moved with terrifying speed. But that speed was the result of patience, not the absence of it. This is a principle that gets lost in most modern motivational content, which tends to glorify constant action. The Mongol mindset teaches something more nuanced. Move fast when it's time to move, but never mistake urgency for wisdom. Strike when the moment is earned, not simply when you're impatient. How often do you rush into action out of anxiety rather than waiting until the moment is actually right? There's also a psychological dimension to the Mongol mindset that's often overlooked: the deliberate use of reputation as a weapon. Mongol armies understood that fear, used correctly, could conquer a city before a single soldier crossed its walls. Stories of their ferocity, some true, some deliberately exaggerated, spread ahead of them along trade routes. By the time Mongol forces arrived at a new city, many defenders had already decided that surrender was safer than resistance. This wasn't cowardice on the part of their enemies. It was the direct result of the Mongols understanding something most people underestimate. Perception shapes outcomes before the first move is even made. How you are seen by others often determines the fight you'll actually have to have. There's a lesson buried in this for anyone building something today: a career, a business, a reputation. The work you do when no one is watching shapes the perception people carry into every future interaction with you. Consistency, over time, becomes reputation. And reputation, whether you like it or not, precedes you into every room. Let's return to that bundle of arrows. The genius of the Mongol mindset wasn't really about weapons or horses or conquest at all. It was about the recognition that isolated strength has limits, but united strength, bound by trust, patience, and purpose, has almost none. Genghis Khan took warring clans who had every reason to hate each other and forged them into the single most effective fighting force the ancient world had ever seen. Not by erasing their differences, but by giving them something more important to believe in than their old grudges. The steppe didn't reward the strongest individual warrior. It rewarded the group that could move, think, and endure as one. That lesson didn't disappear with the fall of the empire. It's still true today, in every team, every family, every group of people trying to build something that lasts longer than any one of them. Break one arrow and it snaps in an instant. Bundle it with others bound by trust and purpose, and it becomes something that cannot be broken at all.